Bitcoin is the solution to 8 billion people's problem. It's the solution to 300 million companies' problem. It's the innovation, the biggest innovation in money or property rights in the history of the human race. It's like fire or electricity, right? It's this new monetary protocol which is going to elevate humanity to new level.
With fiat currencies gradually losing their dominance, Bitcoin emerges as the ultimate shield for preserving wealth and unlocking massive opportunities. That's the message from Michael Saylor, Executive Chairman of MicroStrategy. Saylor views Bitcoin as humanity's solution to some of today's biggest challenges. With interest rates near zero and inflation eroding savings, traditional cash is, in his words, a ticking time bomb. Bitcoin, however, offers something entirely different, a digital, finite, and incorruptible store of value. Many individuals and institutions are already recognizing this, adopting Bitcoin as a long-term hedge against economic uncertainty. Multinational corporations are adding it to their balance sheets, and financially unstable regions are embracing it as a lifeline. According to Saylor, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin soars to new heights. Stay tuned until the end of the video as he shares even more compelling insights into Bitcoin's future.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
Before I discovered Bitcoin, I had an engineering background, a tech investor background. I was a bit of an academic in the history of science. And I had a background in the real world running a software company that was multinational. And I had a background as a public company CEO. And along the way, I picked up lots of bruises as a tech entrepreneur. I picked up lots of wisdom, learning what it's like to do business everywhere in the world. And along comes 2020 and the pandemic crisis, and there's COVID, and there were lockdowns, and then the interest rates went to zero, and there was financial hysteria, and the world was turned upside down and split in half. You know, all of our office cultures, they all got thrown out the window, and we all went to remote work, and we did it like overnight. All of our prejudices and biases, well, we think we should do it this way, they got thrown out the window, and maybe we have to do it a different way. All of our thoughts about money and banking, it's like, okay, here's your money in the bank, it earns 0% interest. Well, what am I going to do? And by the way, we're inflating the currency, and eventually everything's going to cost twice as much. Houses are going to go up in price, and yet your money's going to earn zero. That causes people to open their mind to new ideas. So in my case, I approached this existential risk in 2020, running a publicly traded company, and we happened to have two things. We had about $500 million in cash, earning 0% interest, and we had a $500 million software business generating about $75 million in cash flow. And our stock was a bit more than $1 billion in value. So the marketplace put 1x multiple on our business and 1x multiple on the cash. And I looked at it. My first concern was, will the company survive the crisis? You know, in March, April, May of 2020, we were all worried about, you know, our lives, our family, our businesses, our business model. And once I realized that wasn't going away, my second thought was, how is it possible that every Main Street business is having the worst year of their life? Every restaurant, every bar, every gym, every yoga salon, everyone, you know, that shows up to work, not only are they not working, they're not allowed to work. And if you open up your gym, you know, people are getting arrested for opening up a gym to get healthy. So on one side, you have this crisis. Half the people in the world or half the businesses are having the worst year of their life. And then in the summer of 2020, all the Wall Street firms had the best year of their life. All the stocks doubled, all the real estate assets went through the roof. When we dropped the interest rate to zero, real estate property values double, you know? All of a sudden, you know, all the big tech companies are shooting through the sky, and S&P is shooting through the sky. And I just saw this paradox. How is it possible that one part of society thinks everything's great, and another part of society thinks this is the most awful thing? So we were worried a little bit about that, but really we thought, you know, $500 million is going to be worth $500 million in 4 years, except that you're going to need $1 billion to buy the same amount of stuff as you could buy with $500 million today. So we're destroying shareholder value to sit in our position. The market doesn't care about us. And on the other hand, we don't own anything that's benefiting from all this inflation and from these low interest rates. So we started looking around and in that year, my mind opened and I embraced a lot of new ideas. I embraced the idea of podcasting. I'd never done any podcasts until 2020. I embraced the idea of Zoom. I would have fired you in February if you wanted to do remote work, but by the end of March, it was mandatory. So yeah, it's like 10 years or 20 years of innovation or evolution, all coming in a week or 2 weeks. Then I thought, well, what am I going to do with this money? I either got to give it back to the shareholders, and decapitalize. And if I decapitalize, I thought that's a fast death, right? Our company was looking at a fast death, a slow death, or do something new. And I wasn't interested in a fast death. The slow death didn't have a lot of appeal, just get chipped away at by big tech companies. And so it's kind of a desperate moment, a moment of truth where you have to make a decision and take a risk. And so we looked around and we said, well, what do we need right now? Well, we need a hard asset that is scarce, that people all want in the world. And we need to get on top of the next big tech trend. Is it digital relationships? Is it digital books? Is it digital photographs? Well, it's too late to jump on top of Apple, Amazon, and Google, and Facebook. You had to hit them and invest in them in 2010, 2012. I said, what's the next big thing? I thought, what about Facebook for money? What if someone actually invented a bank for that 1 billion people, or in this case, 8 billion people needed, that ran on the internet, that actually had an asset which no government could debase, which every wealthy investor wants, which you could move at the speed of light, that you could program into an iPhone. What is this? Digital gold, digital capital, digital property. What if the next wave is the digital transformation of money, of property, of energy, of all these ideas? They weren't transformed in the first internet wave. And I looked around and I thought, well, that feels like crypto gold to me. And so what if I could create something that was better than gold? It had none of the defects of gold, and it offered the promise of sound money to 8 billion people. And then I could combine that with a digital network like Google, like Android, or like iOS, or like the internet. That struck me as being the next big idea. And so MicroStrategy became the first public company to buy Bitcoin. And we bought $250 million of Bitcoin in August of 2020, and no one had ever made such a large commitment to this scary, new, crazy crypto idea.
Were you worried about volatility at the time, that you could make that investment and have it drop by 80-90% in a year?
Yeah, I was worried about volatility, and the way that we dealt with that was we had $500 million in capital. I wasn't worried that it would drop and we would panic sell it. I was worried that it would drop and our shareholders would have a big issue with it and we might get sued. Right? Yeah. And so the way we dealt with it was we announced that we were going to do a $250 million stock buyback at a premium. We call it Dutch auction. And we paired it with a $250 million Bitcoin purchase. And we allowed all of our shareholders to get out. Like if you didn't buy into the Bitcoin strategy, you could tender your shares back to the company at a premium. Mm-hmm. That rotated our shareholder base, and we didn't have neutral or indifferent shareholders. We had all pro-Bitcoin shareholders. And that changed the dynamic of the company.
Vancouver's mayor, Ken Sim, just made a groundbreaking announcement that could place Bitcoin at the core of the city's financial strategy. On December 11, 2024, he plans to introduce a bill aimed at making Vancouver a Bitcoin-friendly city. The bill, titled Preservation of the City's Purchasing Power Through Diversification of Financial Resources, focuses on strengthening Vancouver's financial position by diversifying assets with innovative tools like Bitcoin. If approved by the City Council, Vancouver could officially join the growing list of regions embracing Bitcoin. This move could even see the city start accumulating Bitcoin as part of its financial strategy. What are your thoughts on this bold step? Share them in the comments. Now, let's return as Michael Saylor shares more insight.
And so from 2020 to 2024, that was the crazy years of uncertainty. People weren't sure, will Bitcoin be banned? Will it be copied? Will it be hacked? Is it a long-term thing? The skeptics thought, well, maybe, some people, the deniers said, it's just tulip bulbs. Other people, skeptics, said, oh yeah, it's really good. It's better than gold, but it's too good to be true. And so the government's going to take it away from you. And at one point, China banned Bitcoin mining, and that created a crisis. And then they banned Bitcoin trading, and that created a crisis. So a lot of uncertainty there. But our belief was Bitcoin is the solution to 8 billion people's problem. It's the solution to 300 million companies' problem. It's the innovation, the biggest innovation in money or property rights in the history of the human race. It's like fire or electricity, right? It's this new monetary protocol which is going to elevate humanity to new levels. So we became obviously very big advocates. We raised $500 million in a senior debt issue to buy more Bitcoin. Then we sold $1 billion of equity to buy Bitcoin. Then we sold another, then we borrowed money against Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin. Then we issued more equity to buy Bitcoin. If you fast forward through the 4 years, as of today, since we started, we've invested $7.5 billion in Bitcoin, which is worth any given day 14 to 15 billion. The market cap of the company went from 1 billion to 30. The enterprise value of the company went from 600 million to more than 30. And the stock 10x'd. So during that time period, the company stock outperformed just about every stock on the S&P index. It outperformed NVIDIA and Tesla and Amazon and Apple and Google and Facebook. It outperformed Bitcoin itself. And it's not very often that you 10x a stock, 20x a market cap, 40x the enterprise value in 44 months. Right. So we took a particular position, which is Bitcoin is a good strategy. It's good for the world, and we're not going to be shaken. And while that was happening, obviously Bitcoin, when we bought it at 11,800, it crashed down into the 9,000. So we took a $40 million hit in the first week or 2 weeks. So it was very stressful, losing 40 million of 250 million, right? It's a big thing, but we doubled down, and then Bitcoin rallied up. And it eventually went through the all-time highs and rallied to 66,000, then crashed down in the 40s, then rallied to the 66 again. And then this brutal crypto winter went from 66 all the way down to 16,000. Mm-hmm. Brutal. And then it rallied up. And so it is today where it is, And yeah, everybody's got their own Bitcoin journey, but MicroStrategy's Bitcoin journey is we started out of desperation. It was like, do this or maybe just shutter the company. We went from, desperate defensive to opportunistic. Hey, someone wants to give us $1.6 billion for nearly free for 6 years. If I offered you $1.6 billion for free for the next 6 years to invest in anything you wanted, would you take it?
Absolutely. We asked Dave Ramsey the exact same question. He said no, he wouldn't take it.
It's crazy. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And you must not believe in anything, right? I mean, if you're in business and someone's offering you, in essence, free money to invest in your business for the next 6 years and you don't want it, well, what it really means is you've run out of ideas. You don't know what to do with the capital. But, we went from the first step to opportunistic, and then it became strategic. And we realized we are a Bitcoin development company. Our job is to issue securities and to engage in technology projects and advocacy and education in order to spread, the virtues of Bitcoin and the opportunities of Bitcoin to the world.
In the future, Bitcoin will continue to empower people by giving them full control over their money. No government can print more of it, no bank can freeze it, and no border can block it. For billions of people in unstable economies, this means safeguarding their hard-earned savings without the fear of losing value overnight. For small businesses, it enables global trade without burdensome fees or delays caused by intermediaries. As Michael Saylor explains, Bitcoin's limited supply and decentralized design make it the ultimate tool for financial freedom. It's a way for individuals, families, and even entire nations to protect their wealth and secure a stable future. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.